So, fellow golfers, although I did a good clip on the shot routine, you will see that I only referred to putting. But given that putting is over 45% of your round on average, it is such a critical aspect of the game. It is also an aspect that can quickly break down under tension or pressure or in competition. So it is really critical that you develop a really good, repeatable stroke shot routine for putting especially. And again, as applied to the wider shot routines for your other club, think about your think box, a decision line, and your play box. Your think box is really where you do your analysis. So as you stand, look at the grain, look at the line of the putt, visualize your shot, think about the point which you're going to hit the ball to, so a few inches forward if there's a little piece of grass or divot, you want to roll it near or close to, because that's the line you've chosen. Don't forget to read well, take the triangle method. In case there's a slope, left to right, right to left, obviously it doesn't apply here. And once you have thought about your line, thought about your pace, visualize how it goes into the hole, visualize the point of the hole that you want it to go into. You've done your thinking. Many pros use a feature of a clock, so the hole is the clock. So if they want to put it in at the 10 o'clock point or the 9 o'clock point or the 6 o'clock point, so you will sometimes hear their caddies saying, on that line it's an 8 o'clock shot, and that's what it means. They're trying to get it on the 8 o'clock hand of the hole. So the time to think about your little stroke and feel the line, the slope, the pace is your think box. Once you've made that decision, you switch to the play box. And the play box is really where you no longer think about your stroke, you no longer think about the line, you've already visualized your roll, you really just focus and execute, irrespective of the style, which grip you have. I've done a clip on a few different grips, I'll put a link to it above. So irrespective of that, once you've honed that in, and your style of putting, whether it's the arm lock putting like Bryson DeChambeau and several others are beginning to use, whether it's the claw grip like Colin Morikawa uses, and most of the time Tommy Fleetwood uses. I actually use also both of those. In your execution, you're not thinking about any of that. It is literally step in and then get into your routine. Your routine is your setup, it's your weight balance, it's your eye on the ball. It is really important to execute well. Often what happens is people begin to look at the hole before they even hit the ball, and therefore risk not hitting it in the center of the face. So it is really important that you really centrally focus, really probably on a piece of dimple at the back of the ball. A lot of research has shown that even those who think that they actually focus don't, because their eyes actually move around the ball. They've used laser glasses and lenses to demonstrate that. So one technique, and this is the quiet iron putting, is to wait for the shadow of the ball after the ball is left. Don't even attempt to peek or look where the ball has gone. Once you picked your line, that's it. Trust your swing, trust your movement, and stroke it. So the steps are, at the pre-shot routine, your think box, study the grain, study the slope, already figure out the pace, figure out the exact line of your putt, pull your putter out. At that point, your thinking is done. Pre-shot routine, done, thinking finished. Then you're doing that next step, which is visualize your putt going into the hole at the point that you've decided it should go. Look at you step into the ball. This is now your decision line, just before your play box. The decision is already done, but you look at the edge of the hole where you want it to go into, back of the ball, edge of the hole, back of the ball a couple of times, so that you are already in the zone. Yeah, so that's your step 2, is effective visualization. No more thinking about pace and which line to take. Step 3 is then to rehearse your swing. So once you've figured out that you rehearse it, your setup is really key, right? But you're rehearsing it before you do your final setup. Again, some putters like Patrick Cantlay tend to have a shorter backswing and a little bit more of a hit through. Others have a smoother back and forth, like Jordan Spieth, for example. So irrespective of what you have now honed in for yourself, you are just practicing that movement that you have done. Don't forget, no lower body movement, your eyes are staying focused. Your step 4 then is your final setup, which is you're getting to the ball, check your grip, check your focus, check your ball position, check your feet position, check your alignment to the target line that you're trying to hit the ball along, so that you start to already be in the ready position. And step 5 is to stay focused, feel your shot, and pull the trigger. Don't look, don't peek to see where the ball has gone till well after the ball is left, or ideally even after it's fallen into the hole. Unless perhaps you're like a Kevin now, who already goes and takes his ball just before it gets into the hole. As with the shot routine that I covered before in the previous clip, rely on your routine when you need it, especially in pressure positions, in competitions, that putt to win the hole, that putt to win the competition, that putt to score a good result on your round. Right? Rely on that whole routine. Your think box, your decision line, your practice stroke, your setup, double checking your grip, ball position, alignment, and focusing with your quiet eye, which I'll say a little bit more on in a moment. Execute. I have in the background a couple of other clips showing you from a close-up position the focus of my eye onto the ball. So I'm looking down at the ball, I've got my setup, I've got my position, and watch after I've hit the ball that I'm still looking at the exact spot. So I'm focusing on a dimple just behind the back of the ball where I'm going to hit the ball, and I'm going to stay looking at the shadow of the ball after I've struck it. Using the mirror aid that I've demonstrated in one of my earlier clips, which I'll put a link to above. I can make sure in my practice I'm getting into the right eye position, I'm looking at the back of the ball, I'm going to strike the ball in my execution, and I'm going to continue to watch myself and that point at the back of the ball after I've executed the shot, so that I stay in the zone. I have a quiet eye, having already decided where and how I'm going to hit the putt. So to summarize, a consistent shot routine, especially for putting, but in all cases, is really one of the most critical things you can practice, hone in on, make repeatable, and it will significantly improve your performance, your results, and your enjoyment of the game. It is a focused-based technique, and hence the importance of the quiet eye in execution. The key elements are: determine your line, your pace in your think box. Decide the line of your putt, where on the hole precisely you're going to have the ball enter. Perhaps use that clock system that many pros do to help you determine that. Pick out a little point in front of the ball that you're going to start your line on. Having decided all of that, and you've visualized your putt, have a little practice stroke. Look at the hole along the line that you are going to hit the ball, back to the ball a couple of times. Then set up correctly. Check your posture, check your grip, check your weight, check your alignment, check your ball position especially. Check your eye position relative to the ball, and that you're looking at a dimple at the back of the ball where you're going to strike the ball. Thinking time is over. It is time for execution. Now you're on autopilot. Stay steady and execute. No peeking. Let the ball roll off the putter. You've already chosen your line and your pace. Wait for it to be well ahead. Perhaps look at the shadow of where the ball was well after it's left, so that you don't attempt to move your arms or your head, and therefore your alignment, as you begin to strike the ball. Shot routine, quiet eye, and putting. I hope these tips are useful to you and complement the previous clip on shot routine well. See you on the flip side, my friends.